No way. Forget JDM or KDM. We might actually be seeing the rise of CDM. If you haven't heard, the BYD Yangwang U9 Extreme Hypercar just hit a crazy 308 mph top speed. It's not officially the fastest production car yet because they haven't made 25 units, but many sources say the speed was legit, verified by reliable GPS testers, and the run happened on the same track where Remitz's Bugatti and Koenigsegg regularly test. BYD plans to build 30 of these high-performance cars, but they've really got to hurry up. If Bugatti or Koenigsegg manage to break the 308 mph barrier before BYD delivers theirs, then BYD won't officially hold the title of the fastest car in the world anymore. Oh, and the power output on this beast is absolutely insane. The BYD Yangwang U9 pumps out nearly 1,000 kilowatts, which translates to about 2,978 horsepower under the hood. That's seriously impressive for an electric hypercar competing with established giants. Its top speed is wild, but its Nürburgring lap is about 30 seconds slower than the fastest gas car. Still, it's a sub 7-minute lap, making it the fastest electric vehicle around that track, beating Rimac's Navara at 7:05 and the Xiaomi SU7 at 7:04. Honestly, sharing the price feels pointless since we Americans probably won't see this car thanks to our lame ban on Chinese cars. Why compete and innovate with foreign competition when you can just ban them, right? That strategy works so well for Harley. Let's totally do that with cars and definitely not fall behind. I'll dive into that later in this video. I gotta admit, the Xiaomi did have some overheating issues after a few runs, which is always a bit concerning. Oddly enough, even though it was a press car meant to compete with America's best, Xiaomi had restrictors on it at first. No clue if they did that for some drama, like to sandbag and make folks think it was slower, then suddenly lift the limits. Honestly, I gotta call that out because it doesn't feel entirely fair. Still, no denying China's EV game keeps pushing boundaries at an impressive pace. And honestly, it's a bit embarrassing that we're just banning their cars instead of going head to head and really competing to up our own game. That's just the coward's way out, tucking tail and running away. I asked Elon earlier this year, where's the Tesla Roadster we've been hearing about for 8 years? We need it now more than ever. And honestly, it probably needs multiple versions by now because I doubt the base model even compares to these new Yangwang beasts. We're super late to the EV supercar and hypercar game. Makes me wonder if the US is going to show up to this party at all. Big props to Hennessy and even SSC though. When it comes to non-EVs, both companies are still pushing hard to compete at the top speed game despite all their past controversies and drama. Honestly, it's kind of sad that we have to rely so much on smaller independent tuners. Bless them, but they are basically the face of American hypercars now. Oh, and don't forget Celine, who also started out as a tuner. It's pretty wild that none of the multi-billion-dollar giants want to get involved with hypercars these days. And if you're thinking this only happens in the US, that's not true. Bugatti obviously has Volkswagen's backing and they're playing in that space too. Yangwang's got BYD backing, right? So why is it that Ford or GM never chip in? This rise of CDM cars is wild. When we look at JDM and KDM, I don't have any bad words for them, but it's clear JDM's golden era was way back in the 90s. Sure, we had that cool comeback with the Supra, Nissan GTR, and NSX all being made at the same time about 20 years later, but now the NSX and GTR have fallen off again. Luckily, the Supra is not riding solo. We've got a rotary engine making a comeback and even a V8 Lexus supercar on the horizon. Big wins for Japan getting back in the supercar mix. The Type R and Nissan Z are still kicking, so I'm not throwing shade. JDM's far from dead. It's kind of in a silver age still. Meanwhile, KDM's climbing steadily. Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia keep getting better each year. No lies. They're closing the gap on Japan. Yet, Korea's demographic issues and political situation have me worried, and honestly, it's a global concern. Including the US. Here's the blunt truth. They're not having enough kids anymore. Birth rates are dropping fast almost everywhere, and a shrinking population makes it tougher to keep a country running smoothly over time. Honestly, this should have been clear much earlier. China is not just about to lead in Asia, but soon could dominate the entire global car industry. I used to think China only copied others' designs and tech, but copying long enough means you eventually learn to improve on the original and innovate your own way forward, sometimes even better. This transformation isn't just about manufacturing cars, it's about completely changing the automotive game across the world. Some of the greatest inventors in history weren't actually the first to create the things they're famous for. Take Thomas Edison and the light bulb, for example. And here's a fun one for all the car fans. Who actually came up with Lambo doors? Those iconic scissor doors you see on every Lamborghini. Sounds obvious, right? Obviously Lamborghini, since it's called Lambo doors. Nope, it was Alfa Romeo. If you knew that, props to you. But most people watching will still call them Lambo doors, which just proves my point about who really gets the credit. It's not guaranteed these companies will be the ones history remembers. GM, Ford, and Stellantis can't compete in a vacuum. They have to face China, which is advancing fast. Ignoring China means falling behind as their cars surge ahead. Nature shows this too. Animals on isolated islands don't evolve as tough as mainland ones, except Australia, which is unique. When mainland animals reach tiny islands, they face new survival challenges, often struggling to adapt to the tougher environment back home. Even in small numbers, these invasive mainland species can wipe out entire island populations in just a few years. The tougher and more competitive the mainland environment, the stronger and more battle-ready these species are. This applies to humans too. You can't ignore foreign competition, especially in today's super-connected global trade. And hey, I'm not just a hater. I've owned plenty of American cars, so I'm speaking from real experience. I'm not just trashing American cars because I'm jealous or never owned one. If you're new here, welcome. Hit subscribe if you love weekly updates on the scene. Honestly, I still dig American cars. The style, the history, the whole vibe. But it's not just Yangwang making waves. China's been crafting electric hypercars for a while now, and I love that someone's stepping up and challenging them. Plus, it's awesome that these three companies are buddies, a trifecta of rivals who aren't enemies, just respectful competitors. But they still respect each other's wins. Game respects game. Going back to what I said earlier, you have to recognize your opponent's success to keep competing and, more importantly, beating them. You know your enemy better than your friends, right? I'm sure these guys are already plotting how to take down BYD. I'm rooting for BYD in a different way because if they strike back, Bugatti will too. That sparks a cycle of rapid tech leaps. It's pretty wild that Volkswagen pours billions just to keep Bugatti cutting edge. Volkswagen spends billions just to keep Bugatti at the forefront of technology. That shows how serious, or maybe just how stubborn, they are. If only Ford, GM, or Stellantis would throw a few hundred million Hennessy's way, and trust me, they've got the cash. But instead, they're too busy squeezing pennies from investors and customers. Here we are in the US, sticking our heads in once a decade, shouting, "We're number one," waving the flag, but you're not number one if you lose the other 9 years of the decade, right? We're a nation obsessed with cars, yet somehow we're losing to countries that don't even have our car culture. It's like we're standing there, arms crossed, watching them pull ahead, feeling a mix of jealousy and frustration. Anyway, that wraps up this video. If you love car content as much as I do, be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe for weekly updates and fresh insights.